Welcome back to My Trick Media. Today we are going to cover Acolyte episodes 5, 6, and 7. Yeah, you want to get going? Episode 5.
So immediately episode 4, fucking cliffhanger, fuck them. And so you see Osha wake up, and I'm kind of like, oh, did he just leave? And then she like turns, and it's a massacre.
Yeah, she sees a dead body 3 feet away from her or whatever, and then she walks over a little bit, and then she literally just witnessing a duel.
Yeah. So like
5v1.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but I'm a notes guy for this show. I get made fun of. So some of the notes I have are I get answers for. So like one of the notes I have is like, what is his helmet made of? I mean, we had like suspicions that it was cortosis, but we didn't find out till episode 6. But I was just gonna full out. These Jedi fucking suck.
I mean, yeah, they don't look very good, and then at the same time though, also it could just be, the stranger, as they call him,
that
just
too,
really good.
But I cortosis is something too that like the whole point of that helmet is to like lock in his abilities. Mm-hmm. So
which we learn all of this in episode 6. He talks about it, but
the fight starts or whatever, and you're just kind of like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, literally, it cuts to the fight. He swings his arm, deactivates the blade, and then he headbutts the next lightsaber. And you're like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, people were making fun of that. I watched that. And
That's
I was like,
such a Sith ass move.
I literally watched it, and I was like, that's badass as fuck.
That's such like a Darth Maul slamming his blade into Qui-Gon's chin.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon Jinn's chin. Chin.
Yeah.
But it's just using the Jedi fight too nice, and he took advantage of that.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, I thought he looked badass as hell. Then also with his helmet, it doesn't look like he can see out of it very well. Which
no, dude,
we do see.
I get to that in my next set of notes.
Okay,
but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't even know how this dude's seeing these people. First of all, it's dark.
I really don't know if he is. I think he just might be using the Force.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is too. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he just closed his eyes. I mean,
yeah, yeah. But
you go to headbutt a lightsaber. Are you looking at that when you do it, or do you close your eyes when you do that? Because that impact's still got to be kind of crazy. Because he just pow.
Yeah, but another thing too, I think it's right after that happens, it kind of shows him under the tree, and he fucking stabs that one person through the chest, and then immediately just goes, and gets a fucking double kill with a lightsaber.
He literally kebabbed 2 people with a lightsaber. I mean, also not gonna lie, I thought it was badass as hell. I was
kebabbed him is the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, what the hell did he?
Did he grill him too?
Yeah,
on the barbie there was some.
I mean, they got grilled on the inside.
But yeah, so I thought that was cool. Cool, I guess. But he then eats that fucking blaster shot from Osha. The stun.
Oh, yeah, the stun. He
eats that fucking shit.
Do you think that the helmet had anything to do with that, or
I think it just literally disables anything electronic?
The only thing that was like that on his body was the sleeve and then his helmet. So, do you think that just stopped it from happening, or do you think he's just that fucking has a force ability or something?
I don't know.
Because I'm sitting here holy shit.
Because
Yord was done for. He was on the ground. He had his leg stabbed already. He was about to die. And she shoots him, and then he just eats that shit. And I was like, dude, what the hell?
He got shot and was like, all right, you pissed me the fuck off.
I was kind of, I was like, what the hell who is this dude? Because holy shit, he's pretty cool. I thought he was cool.
Yeah, and then so I thought the next part was funny too. So she shoots him and then starts running, and he does this weird Michael Myers walk where he just you don't see him, and all of a sudden he's fucking right there. And he's walking it was a cool cinematic thing they did to do that. But his voice I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah,
he has this deep, just disgusting voice. Yeah. I was kind of worried. I was kind of worried they were either gonna make him super Darth Vader, Kylo Ren sounding, or they were gonna make him super not. It was gonna be a almost
Well, I don't think that. I don't know if I think that like, he changed his voice necessarily. It might have just been the weird echo through the helmet.
It might have been
because
that too.
I guess it's getting into episode 6, but I feel like I guess we'll get into it later. But I don't know if he necessarily changed like anything changed his voice. It might have just been like how the helmet like got the voice out. But I did like it. It felt like kind of a realer bad guy voice instead of like a Darth Vader or a Kylo Ren where it was like almost animated kind of. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it sounded good. It sounded scarier than Kylo Ren's. Obviously Vader just
you have that weird like mic interference shit that happens with Kylo's and Vader. That's kind of like the whole point. But
I think Kylo did it on purpose to try to sound scarier than he actually is, and I felt like it just didn't work. I felt like this worked.
he was scary until he took like I feel like Kylo would have been so much better if he just didn't take his helmet off for the first like movie and a half.
Yeah,
like I feel like his helmet should have been broken off of him. Like
how this was.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Which, yeah. Or maybe like not shown. Like I feel like we're talking about fucking episode 7. But,
I know we're literally.
But like the whole point of him, like when he sees Rey and she's like, "You're a fucking monster under there. What are you?" All this shit, and he takes it off and he's a human, and it's like that's a cool reveal. I think it was.
I like how this guy, the stranger in this episode, literally didn't do that. He was just like, "You can't tell who I am." And I like the way he talked, too. The way he talked was, like, I felt very menacing because he was really calm, but at the same time, it was like, damn, like, this dude's, like, confident as hell. He's about to kill everybody here.
So, my next part of my notes, I have immediately shit-talking into praising. So, shit-talking, why does... I don't know how old Soul is, not in the show, but the real actor. Why does he fight with a lightsaber 30 times better than all of the younger people?
Yeah,
in the show
I don't really understand. I mean, okay, I will say this.
I will contradict what I'm saying in 2 episodes because there's someone in 7 that I think uses one very well.
Yes.
But in that fighting scene, like I feel like they all like they look like they're swinging around. Like it doesn't look like
it kind of reminds me of when Sabine and or Mando started using.
Dude, it looks heavy as shit, which their sabers look like lead pipes. So.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the idea that they haven't fought anybody in 900 plus years.
And this is where the praise was coming. I thought a really good part of this episode was when Osha's talking to Yord, and they're running, and Yord is talking about the rules of combat and how he is throwing out the rules of combat to fight them with the headbutt, the moving, the cortosis.
Right.
I thought that was such a good scene.
I feel like we needed that scene because it also just shows what you're talking about.
It finally showed, and this is what I wrote, it showed an example of the time period for once.
Yeah, and I really feel like, I mean, dude, like, he had them so thrown off that's why the Jedi look like shit when they're fighting.
Yes, but I thought, like, also them saying that, but then also them saying like the whole rules of combat thing. I thought was like, this is the problem with this show is episode 5 does so many things right.
I feel like there were so we go back to when we talked about episode 1 and 2. I thought there was things that were right, and I defended some of the ideas behind some of the stuff. Like they didn't go out of their way to explain a lot of things. It's just me from knowing Star Wars, I feel like.
Yeah, or they explain the shit that didn't need explained and didn't explain the shit that needed explained.
Right, and I'm like, okay, for the casual viewer watching the show, I've talked to people that are like, what are they doing this for? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, because of this. And you have to know more outside Star Wars to understand episodes 1 and 2, in my opinion. I think it helps a little bit knowing a lot more about Star Wars
3,
outside
it doesn't fucking matter. Because you can interpret that whatever way you want. I still don't know what happened.
I mean, I'm still going to sit here and be like, hey, episode 1 and 2 I thought were okay. They're not fantastic. They're not god-awful. I think...
There's been worse episodes of other live-action shows than those first two
episodes. The biggest problem with the show is they're explaining stuff really late. They're kind of like...
And see, I get the storytelling of that part.
Yeah.
But it's it's just weird because we have other information to go off of, and then like they're doing this weird game where they contradict and then they tell you how they contradicted and like why that's happening, using a contradiction of how it was happening.
Right.
Like I just there's so much like back and forth because like I felt like that was such a good like that's probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire show so far is that fucking 10 seconds that he sits there and explains what's happening.
They're literally, the Jedi are shitting the bed right now. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
Are they? They're shitting the bed to our heads.
Yes.
But to them, they're just like, what the fuck?
Right.
So,
and, like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I get what you're saying. And I think there's just certain times where, from a storytelling perspective, I think some of the stuff ends up coming off as good. But then from another aspect, I feel like some of the shows coming off as really bad with how they're like going back and forth with how they're telling the story, when they're going out of their way to explain something, when they're doing this one. Like, so episode 5, he has the, what'd you say it was called again? The armor? Cortosis. So Cortosis, we don't get that explained. So the casual viewer looks at that and is like, what the hell?
I'm honestly, that's another thing. I'm glad they did say the name of it because that lets people, like, if you don't know, you can look it up.
Right, but it's like, so
even me and you were not like extremely familiar with Cortosis.
I mean, so we have episode 5. This shit's happening. Lightsabers are getting deactivated, and you're kind of, as a casual viewer, you're like, what the hell's this? We have to wait till episode 6 a week later to learn. And I think it's working for some aspects of the show, but other aspects of the show, I feel like it's coming off really bad, storytelling wise, and that's a big gripe with the show. And I mean, I understand, I agree. I feel like some of it's good and some of it's bad. A lot of people are just throwing it all in the bad category, I feel like, but I think there's some things that are coming good out of it and some things that are coming bad out of it.
And that's the thing, like, I really hope even if this show does not end and like we look at it as like this wasn't a good show, I really hope there are things that like they realize that fans do like and what they don't like.
Yeah,
because I feel like, especially with this show being so experimental, especially with lightsaber play now, and I cannot imagine that we're not going to get more in this episode.
I've literally seen everybody, like, most people talk really poorly of episodes 1 through 4 at this point where we're at with this discussion. And then we come across episode 5. I haven't seen anybody talk really bad of anything for episode 5.
I think it's just a shitting because it's part of it.
Right. But, like, people are talking shit about it just because it's like, how the hell did you have the first 4 episodes and then all of a sudden this was this?
Yeah.
And from a story...
I mean, that's kind of how I feel.
Right. And no, I mean, I understand that, but it's like, yeah, dude, like, I don't know. It's kind of sad because it's like, all right, my opinion, 1 and 2 were okay. 3 and 4 I thought were very poorly episodes.
I thought 5 was good.
I thought 5 was really good, actually. I liked the dialogue in the episode from everybody.
I think 6 is okay again.
I liked the idea of episode 6, and I think the bad guys side of that episode was really good.
I feel like we are finally getting into the point of the show is supposed to be the POV of the bad people. To an extent, at least that's how I understand the explanation. And I feel like episodes 5 and 6 we actually got that, and we haven't for the other fucking 5 episodes that we have.
So I mean, yeah, episode 6 I thought was good.
7 he's not even fucking in it.
I thought episode 6 for the bad guys side of the story I thought was really good, or pretty good. The other side of the story I thought was really boring.
Wait, which part?
Everything that didn't have to do with the bad guy.
Well, no, I thought the whole soul interaction at the end was good. I like the idea of him like dipping out of there as soon as the Jedi arrive.
That was about it for me.
Well, okay, it goes back to, I think a lot of this show's problem is the Jedi.
Yeah.
Especially, I cannot remember her fucking name, but the bitch with the green, who looks like shit. I don't like that character at all. And
well, like
it keeps getting worse.
She's not telling anybody anything about what's going on.
No, and she's just like lying constantly.
I've seen the theory, I'm sure you've seen it, that they think that she was what's his name's master?
The bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
I never even thought about that until just now. But as soon as you started saying that, I was like, oh.
Well, I've seen people theorize it, and then you remember the scar that he has on his back. It's in the shape of a whip. Kind of like this, how it's like curved and stuff. Like, I think that lightsaber whip did that to him. I really do. That'd be crazy.
We gotta get back on topic.
Yeah.
So going through the rest of this fight, I actually did write that I think that he also fights a little similar to Kylo, but with a lot more control of the weight of his lightsaber.
Well, I mean, he also doesn't have the cross guard.
That's true, but Kylo also just acts like his lightsaber's the heaviest thing on the planet.
I think Kylo's the way he swings is he tries to use so much power in his swings that they're just longer and stronger, but defensively it's a very poor tactic.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you haven't played the games, but when you have the different forms of lightsaber combat in the games, it literally has the defense all the way down to like 0 when you use the cross guard.
Oh, when you type of saber.
Yeah, it's like, so it goes based off the type of saber in the game, not necessarily like the styles of lightsaber combat. But when he uses the cross guard, it has defense at like 0 because they're just such long, powerful swings that it kind of hurts Kylo. But yeah, I think that it does look very similar, and I think he does do a lot better of a job. He's definitely more in tune with his, I would say, abilities, and that could be from like the helmet, like he talks about in episode 6. But also at the same time, like, I just think he's a better fighter.
Well, continuing with the fight, I thought his dual lightsaber was fucking awesome,
Dude, like,
he literally said like I don't even know how to, like, I rewinded it because I didn't catch it at first. So this is the point where he's about to massacre the Padawan.
Right. So it's funny,
and he just like twists and pops it.
Yeah.
And I almost thought he pulled it and then hit a button and ejected out, but he pulled it out as it was coming out. Like it was like sheathed almost inside of it.
I thought it was funny. So we've talked about it in the other 2 episodes we've done that we don't know the Padawan's name.
It's Jackie.
And I feel like we learned it for the first time in this episode.
I learned it by episode 4. When episode 5 came out, I thought it was funny.
honestly couldn't remember it until Soul's like, Jackie, no. And then, by the way, the reveal of the stranger was crazy when the dead body just falls and then he's just badass as hell. And I was like, I was literally jaw dropped. I was shocked. Not gonna lie, like just the whole scene. Not even necessarily just like him was the bad guy. Like
that's probably the biggest part of the show so far, where it's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right.
We've seen him a couple times. It's like
the reveal happens and
like it makes so much sense now.
It does. And then the reveal happens and Soul's like, I don't remember what Soul said. And then he turns around and looks at Soul and's like, was that its name? And I was like, Jesus, dude. He has no remorse.
He said something about like you killing a child.
Yeah.
Something like that. Or maybe he says that afterwards. But
yeah. And he had no remorse at all for anything. And I just thought, like, wow. Like, I think they did his character very well.
Yeah, and like I
like how, like,
I'm not gonna say that yet. I need them to finish.
Well,
his
right.
But so then like immediately like that's about back when Osha and Yord arrived back.
Yeah, and then jeez. So I mean, Yord is very smart with how he came back. He realized what was happening. He force pulled the helmet right to his hand to like help protect himself. He goes for the swing. He obviously gets it blocked by the arm guard, and then he literally just shoves the helmet into the blade. And I mean, we all saw it, man.
Okay, this is where I'm now upset though, because that scene is cool as fuck. If you don't know, he fucking turns Yord's head into a 720.
Well, I mean, so basically how he did it was he already had the gash in his leg, so he was already hurt. I'm pretty sure he kicks his leg, breaks his arm, and then he was distracted by who it was. When he saw that who it was, and then he realized, oh shit, like we've already met this dude, like we didn't recognize it then. Like I think he was so distracted that he kicks his leg, breaks his arm, and then just breaking his neck. I feel like at that point,
I don't know if he broke his arm. I think he might have he went to go put him in
I think he broke his arm because he like screamed when he moved his arm. I think he broke his arm too. But then I think Yord kind of just was like, I'm done, and then he just let his.
Well, I don't
neck
think
get snapped in half.
Yord thought he was gonna fucking 720 his neck.
I don't know what Yord was thinking specifically right before he died, but I think he was ready to be done.
So see, this is where I'm now upset. We saw the scene in Kenobi where he drags the guy and snaps his neck. We've now seen this guy get his neck snapped. Why do we not have R-rated Star Wars then? Why can't we get a Vader? Like, people are telling you what you want or what they want, and you're just like, we're showing you we can do it now.
So yeah, I have sent you a couple stuff here recently that there's supposedly been interviews or whatever with Dave Filoni saying that there is a place for R-rated stuff in Star Wars, and they're looking into.
It's already in Marvel, and it's on Disney Plus, so that's not the issue either.
I think that they're gonna get with the program. I'm hoping.
I just don't think they'll do Vader.
I think
at least for a while.
I think if they're gonna do it, that's what they're gonna do. It's either that or they're gonna jump into Legends content because I don't feel like there's anything in canon that really deserves to be like that except for Vader.
Or do they full swing and do like the night that Kylo, or the night that Ben became Kylo?
Yeah, and then
which sounds okay in theory. Don't want it.
Yeah, we all want Vader. We all know that we want Vader. That's literally it. Like,
I'm scared for them because like Vader is kind of like.
I'm honestly,
it's gonna be so fucking hard to fuck him up. They could fuck up the other Sith Lords like very easily.
No, I think they could.
Starting off, you need to find people who are 7 foot fucking tall. That's numero uno.
Listen, that's not gonna happen. Like, we already know. That's not gonna happen.
It definitely could.
They could just make the people look bigger in the show. They don't have to cast somebody that's 7 foot tall. You know what I mean?
But it'd be way cooler if they did.
Who the hell are they gonna cast that's 7 foot tall?
I don't know. There's some tall fucks.
Anyways.
Make like
back to the point.
Make like Tyson Fury, fucking.
Back to the point. We have gotten more violent stuff with Disney. We have gotten a little bit more violent stuff with Disney. In Kenobi specifically, we see Hayden actually stabbing. What is her name? I can't even remember. The third sister.
Oh,
Reva. Yeah, we see him stab
her. I
almost
said Revan.
We see more from Order 66, and then obviously. We have episode 3 where Darth Vader.
Nightfall Anakin.
Yeah.
That's the first movie I want.
Well,
I want a trilogy of Nightfall Anakin, Vader movie where he storms the Jedi prison. And then I want like a galactic Vader where he just starts fucking just taking bounties.
Okay. Anyways, so in Kenobi, we get to see him tell Kenobi, you're going to suffer as I've suffered, and then drags him through the fire. And then obviously, like, he snapped the little kid's neck, and then, like, in this show, we're getting...
That was a little kid. That was an adult.
No, he snapped the kid's neck.
Might have done both. I don't know.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was the kid's neck. Anyways, that episode dropped, and the next episode had to have a viewer discretion after it.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, like,
take your kids out of the fucking room so we can get good Star Wars.
I've seen the show again, and they have a viewer discretion before the 3rd episode too. Clearly, they kind of needed it for that episode. I don't know why they didn't do it. I feel like if they would have done that before anybody knew what was going to happen, and been like, viewer discretion, I feel like people would have been like, what's about to happen? What the hell?
But yeah,
but also it would have ruined the surprise, kind of, because we didn't know obviously that he was going to meet him in that episode. So it was like, whoa. But yeah, back to the point. I feel like they should start seeing what kind of Star Wars we want, and like R-rated Vader. I feel like should come
with like a couple movies. It's just like, pick one.
I'm like, dude, you could make R-rated
stuff.
R-rated stuff with even Grievous. Like, just violent, gruesome killing. Like, you could do that. But, I don't know. Do you have anything else for episode 5?
That's what I was going to say. I was going to wrap up with.
Right.
I thought the idea of her in that moment swapping with her sister. I feel like that's such a clever thing.
It was, and it pisses me. Okay, so we're going to start going from 5 to 6 throughout what I'm about to say. It pissed me off that the stranger knew exactly that it was Osha, and Soul had no idea at the beginning. Like, I don't understand. Like, so when he,
Yeah, but
when,
that's
when
part
he,
of. I think that's part of their ordeal of hiding the Force.
But no, with
Because
with the strangers idea, it makes sense because it's like when they go meet him the first time, he could be using the same force ability that Plagueis and fucking Sidious were using.
We're gonna use episode 7 to talk about episode 6. In 7, they literally explain how they are one of the same conscious mind.
Yeah.
And it's split in half. So I don't think he can tell the difference. I think the bad guy can because she was knocked the fuck out and could see she didn't have.
Well, he also saw the tattoo and the stab, the wound that she had. I mean, I guess I see what you're saying. But also like Soul talks about how he couldn't recognize that it was the bad guy or sense that he was there. And I mean, it goes back to the movies with Palpatine and then in the Plagueis book where they talk about how they have a force ability where they can mask their presence. And I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't know it's him. Duh, that was the whole point.
Yeah.
He was a little,
something they didn't explain. But.
Well, they don't explain it, but I mean, I guess we get it in other content. So I mean, that one made perfect sense to me, and I understand. I mean, yeah, like you said, they didn't explain it, but I'm not mad about that. I guess until episode 7, I was mad about how he didn't know that May was May. Like that kind of pissed me off.
So I'm just gonna start spewing off shit that I wrote. They did not do work on the planet that they went to. It looks like the planet from episode 8. And they actually made a fucking post and tweet about how it's not the same planet. When you, like...
I mean, it's not the same. I mean...
I know, but, like, when you... It is close enough that you're like, dude, you couldn't have made, like, a different fucking world for them to go to?
Yeah, but, I mean, I thought this place looked, like, nicer and, like, kind of like a nice retreat place to go. Like, kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, it was...
Still, but the premise of the planet's the exact same.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, but, I mean...
But yeah, so I had that, and then I also thought it was super weird that Soul didn't retrieve or bury the bodies.
Yeah, he just left.
And then...
Well, I thought it was also crazy at the beginning of the episode when he goes down to, like, look at something for the ship, and then he just, like, almost starts crying, and then, like, punches the fucking desk and shit. Like,
yeah.
That kind of, like, hurt me. I was like, damn.
They're flying. That's immediately one of my next notes. They're flying away, and he, like, goes to the back, and he told May, hey, take the wheel. I thought that was the dumbest fucking line. It's a spaceship.
Yeah.
What do you mean take the fucking wheel?
So,
yeah, that was nitpicky, but I don't give a shit. I thought
also, by the way,
the fucking wheel.
So when they do leave, he takes off and leaves when the Jedi are coming there. How did their ships not hit each other in hyperspace? Because I feel like they were right next to each other. When one left and one came back, how'd they not just obliterate each other?
It was like this.
Dude, listen, they were close.
I mean, that was the point.
They were close. Like, yeah. I was almost like, damn, they didn't hit each other? Like, wow.
So, kind of after that, we jump back to the bad guy and Osha waking up and Cortosis and everything. Weird nude scene. So, like, obviously he was not nude.
No, he was.
They showed, like, belly button to head. And then they showed, like back of his leg to his ankle, and then they jumped his ass cheeks.
I saw this clip on TikTok where he's walking out of the water when she, like, grabs his lightsaber and stuff, and he's like, I'd like to put my clothes back on. And he walks out of the water, and she just eyes down at his...
Yeah, dude, that's the... like,
I was like,
I think that's the first of its kind in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it was... not necessary.
I just what I thought was crazy about it is they zoom in on Osha's face and she
it
goes.
Zooms in on Osha going. What's
mean,
up? Like she took a gander at his cock.
What'd you say? Yeah,
I just like
I thought it was
I thought it wasn't.
I don't even know if it was.
I don't know why. Like I don't know why it was in there. I don't really care, I guess, but it was just like something that I'm just like it started. I'm immediately like this is weird for Star Wars. Cuz like I can't think of anything else that's like that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like the closest is like Slave Girl Leia, but she's clothed. That was also in a completely different time period though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that was the edgiest George Lucas was ever going to get with something. And she was kind of already kind of like, I don't know if I want to do this.
I mean, I don't know. They
don't wear bras in space.
I mean, I don't know. I saw this.
I guess he doesn't wear underwear in space. So
I saw this report that. Never mind. I'm not even gonna say it. Don't worry about it.
oh yeah, we're not talking about. Part of this podcast is Star Wars. We're not talking about like anything else.
Well, no, it was Star Wars, but don't worry about it.
I knew what I think you're gonna say, but we're not gonna talk about it. That's not.
We'll
a
talk
podcast.
about it one day if it happens. But
Oh, I have no clue what you're talking about then.
I sent it to you,
I
but
didn't read it. Okay, but I thought the scene where he's talking to her and calls it like he's talking about Jedi and he's like, yeah, when a master has a pupil. I thought that was dumb. You could have just said apprentice. I that
think
was such like a small little thing.
He was changing the words because he's trying to. I think
he's trying to knock her off of it, but
well, he's trying to. I think he's trying to turn her, and he's trying to turn her, and he's being very careful with his words. So actually, I disagree with your thought on that. I actually think it's pretty good because he's trying to say.
I just hate that word.
Yeah, but he's saying it on purpose because I think he's trying to get her to go.
Yeah, I get it, but like.
I mean, he literally.
I would rather have him said like master and youngling to piss her off. Not like pupil is just such like it's weird. I don't know.
Well, I think he's doing it intentionally. I see where you're coming from. I mean, it is a weird thing to say, but I think he's saying things intentionally to get her to turn. And I mean, he ends up getting her a little bit later.
You're getting ahead.
I mean,
I have notes in between.
Yeah.
So like he then explains that he was a Jedi at one point, which I think cleans it cleans up so much of this story and how it relates to canon.
Well, she says that you speak as if you were a Jedi. And he's like, I was. And I was like, oh, okay.
That makes it so much better. In my opinion.
I do. I think so too. I think I really do think it makes it a lot better.
And something about that exact same scene too. I love how they made, like, I know this is kind of point of the show, but they made the bad guy seem like the normal person and the good guys seem like the odd man out. And
they do.
I like that. I would love to get more things that are like, I know it's kind of hard, but I would love, like, you get a little bit of it of Maul, but he's a cartoon. It's not the same depth.
Yeah, but I feel like Maul's just
season 7 Clone Wars. You get that with Maul.
I guess you do get it for a brief moment
with him and Ahsoka, but that's also because she's not a Jedi, so he could openly have that conversation.
Yeah.
I thought you just turned your mic off when you did that. I was like, hey, bud, kind of need those. So yeah, there's that, and then immediately they like get up and she goes to walk away or whatever, and she ends up. This is what you were gonna get to, was pulling the blade out on him.
Well, he says something. Do you remember what he says that pisses her off? Or no, he basically says they threw you away.
Yeah, the balls to pull a lightsaber into himself. Like, fucking do it, bitch.
Yeah, he literally
do it.
He grabbed her hand and pulled it to his stomach and was like, "Turn it on."
Do it.
And I
fucking
was like,
kill me.
Wow.
Stab me. Die. I want to die.
I mean,
kill
honestly,
me.
I don't think he really cares if he dies there. I mean, he's trying to. Well, he says, she asked him, "What do you want?" He's like, "I want the rule of 2." So I don't know if he's already been talking to either.
I mean, he may have found a holocron.
Maybe. So I've seen a theory.
If he found Bane's holocron.
I mean, I've seen a theory that he found the holocron that
you're reading too much like extra shit before
I am.
The show ends. Like you're like, I've heard this theory and
okay,
that
but
one.
like I think it's cool to talk about. I heard a theory that he found the same holocron.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be our own. Like, we're not giving them any content. Like, we're just giving them other people content.
Well, I mean, I heard a theory that they think that he found Bane's holocron that he found of Revan's in the Bane series.
What? One more time.
The holocron that Bane finds in his series was Revan's holocron.
That doesn't make sense. I feel like he would have found Bane's.
I think people were just saying that to make it cooler.
I mean, finding Bane's is fucking cool as shit.
I mean, yeah.
Or just as cool as Revan's, because he made the fucking rule of 2.
Yeah.
But I feel like that had to have been passed down so many times. Like, Xana would have tossed that shit.
I mean, so,
her
like,
Padawan probably would have found it.
Like you said.
Acolyte.
Like you said, we could have... Sorry. He could have found a holocron. Maybe he is working for, either Plagueis or Tenebris at this time. We have one more episode. I mean, I know we're only in episode 6.
I
but,
think they might leave us on a cliffhanger and then announce season 2.
well, they've already kind of talked about a season 2. I don't really know too much about that, to be honest. But I would rather them end this season and end it with a good cliffhanger and not have a season 2. I'd rather be ended on a good cliffhanger and have something else, some other Star Wars content in between. You know what I mean? Because I think they should either end it with possibly Tanibris or Plagueis, and I would rather it be a cliffhanger. I think I'd rather have that.
Tanibris makes more sense.
I think it is supposed to be Tanibris because I think Plagueis is very young at this time.
Plagueis shouldn't even be his.
I don't think so. Well, I heard a thing. I don't know.
But so before we keep moving on though, where was I? When she ignites that lightsaber and goes to stab him, she then like flips it and pushes it to his neck. That lightsaber looks like fucking shit. So you're like, so she's like, he's against the rock and she's up here, and they show an angle from the tip of the lightsaber. I swear to fuck that they got it from FX lightsabers. You could see the fucking plastic. You go back and rewatch that scene.
Well, no. They are using plastic lightsabers.
I know, but they edited it like shit. Okay. You could see the plastic and then it going like this.
I honestly thought you were talking about the hilt, and I was like, his hilt's the coolest out of anybody else's of the show.
No, talking about the blade. The blade looks like fucking plastic.
I will have to look back at that.
Terrible.
I didn't notice that, but I think the hilt his is the coolest out of anybody else's. I'm sorry, it's not even close.
All theirs are shit.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that he has like the little dagger in there too, like, oh come on, like, so his is definitely the coolest lightsaber. But I think I got
ahead of myself because I think Soul actually leaves during this episode.
Yeah, because he finds out.
I fucked up and said it's in the 6th one, but
well, you said it at the very beginning.
I don't know.
You were fine.
So he leaves and then they jump back. They confirm it's Cortosis, and then we jump back again, and it's showing that green bitch. I fucking hate her. But they show her using her saber whip. I'm so disappointed because it was cool, but like she killed a bug with it. I want to see her fight.
I think we will. I think she's gonna die too.
I really hope she goes to whip that thing around his helmet and it eats that shit, and then he just goes, ka-ching.
I honestly think that.
Do you think we'll get a beheading in the show? I feel like we have to.
I think it'll be hers.
You think Soul will die? I don't know if I'm ready for Soul to die yet.
It depends on if they're doing a season 2 or not. I really do think that.
I feel like they might go super cliche, and he'll go to like stab Osha, and he'll jump in front of it.
Did you also
$5,000 to me if that
Did you also see Plo Koon 2 on the ground dead?
The Keldor? Yeah, she's the one that got double tag. Or no, she's the one that died after the double kill.
But
or maybe she was the second of the double kill. No, I don't remember.
No, I don't think so. But
they just show her fucking helmet.
I do think that they're gonna have a face off. I don't know why they wouldn't. I feel like she's not telling people stuff. I'm pretty sure that was his master. There's a lot of indications for it. She's not talking about things. The scar on his back, I think, is from the lightsaber whip. I think they should have a face off.
Or maybe he was her master.
Maybe.
That doesn't make sense. She's way older.
Yeah, he seems way too young for that. But
I also don't know how old he is because I feel like Osha, someone should have known about him more. But this green bitch just keeps lying about everything.
Yeah, she is definitely not telling people shit, and I don't know if
and she thinks it's Soul. I thought that part was kind of like,
yeah, she did. Well, she said it's a hell of an accusation. Like,
yeah, that means that's what I was thinking too. But you said it first. That's what that fucking means.
Do you think Soul could have done this? Yeah, I don't know.
Nerdy ass Jedi. But the last note I have for this is so they show the Cortosis mask and she grabs it, and I was sitting there like in my head just like almost like I was starting to say it out loud like, don't put that fucking thing on. Just like, I don't know if you know anything about like why is he slipping my fucking mind? Nihilis's mask, but there's a whole thing about putting Nihilis's mask on and it being a fucking mistake. She's like going like this. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do it. And then I see that he can see a fucking paperclip. That's literally what I wrote. You could see fucking nothing out of that.
You can see more out of a paperclip than that thing.
Yeah.
That's how thin.
Dude, literally, it's like.
Are. Like, it's crazy. Like, he literally can't see in that thing.
That makes a Mandalorian's mask look like he's not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Like, it makes this look like it's like you're seeing the world out of it.
Like, even the corner right here, that's a lot more than he gets.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's more like these little slivers down here in the mask.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought that was a cool way to end the episode. But back what I was saying with his voice thing, I think that his voice is just his voice coming through differently in the mask, because when she was breathing, it sounded really raspy in that mask. So I don't think it's like a voice changer. I just think of how it comes out of the mask.
Yeah. Makes sense. But so then we get to episode 7, and how'd you feel about episode 7?
Certain parts I thought were pretty good, actually, but I feel like the majority of the episode was a joke.
We rewatched episode 3 from a perspective of a guy who was there. It wasn't that like mind blowing to have Soul's perspective.
Yeah.
I thought the shit with Torben was way better.
Oh, I actually really like Torben's perspective in this episode.
So immediately we start with them like taking little like bullshit like samples and all this other shit, and Torben's just immediately like, I want to get the fuck off this planet. And she's explaining that he has anxiety, and I was just like, okay, like we kind of get it. Like a lot of like Jedi have had like anxiety and shit, even Obi-Wan, but like we didn't need it explained.
I mean, they didn't come out and just say it. I mean,
she literally said he has anxiety.
Did she?
Did
she say anxiety?
Did.
I don't think she said anxiety specifically.
I also forgot from the last episode. This reminded me, the green woman. Also, when they went to go get on the ship to head to that planet, talked about how she gets hyperspace sickness. What a fucking pussy. Anyway,
yeah,
I didn't even know that was a thing, but
I do think like the majority of the episode was a little
I thought the best part was we got to watch them choke a fucking butterfly again. That's a staple on this show.
All the POV parts I thought were bad, except for when they showed the witch going into Torben's mind. I thought that was actually kind of crazy. I was
I think it's kind of weird because I underestimated how powerful they are, and I think the Star Wars world is too. I think
it actually showed them do something, and that's what I like so much better about this episode, comparatively speaking to episode 3. They all they did was force push in that episode, and obviously all the other stuff that was happening in that episode.
Physical realm with him in his brain.
Yeah,
in his consciousness.
I thought it was
that. I think that seemed way too powerful for. So like we end up finding out that the thing she was trying to do is they basically have essence transfer.
Yeah, they do.
They're just giving them abilities left and fucking right. And I don't feel good about it.
I mean, so the problem about it is we talked about how they're wannabe Night Sisters in the other episode.
He even calls them Night Sisters. Torben does.
Yeah, he's like, are they Night Sisters? And I mean, like, I'd be scared if they were Night Sisters.
They never said yes or no.
They didn't say yes or no, which I don't think so, because their magic, when they did it, it was like a black dust, and then obviously when the Night Sisters
they look like
it's
they were
green.
Peter Parker being disappeared in Infinity War. That's what they looked like.
They kind of did. I really thought that was a really cool scene where she was in Torben's mind. I thought that was a really cool scene.
I also thought the scene where they figure out something's wrong and Torben just gets on the speeder bike and takes the fuck off.
Listen.
He was being so fucking weird.
So when that happened, and then obviously we see all the dead bodies, and we kind of briefly talked about in the one episode where we're not sure if the Jedi killed these people. I thought Torben was about to go there and start slaughtering people.
No, it was fucking Indara the entire time.
Yeah, I know. I was like, because we get to the scene where Soul. That's okay. Where Soul.
We jumped it. The only.
I don't have anything to add.
Two things, because it kind of flips it. Because, okay, so it's the scene where she's like trying to jump bodies and Soul kills Mama.
Well, that's where I was. I was literally about to start talking about that.
Then Dara things after.
Yeah, no, but I was I was jumping to that. Yeah, so they go and confront all of them. I don't even know what they're called. Like, we have the Night Sisters. I don't know what they are, but
the Covenant of Sisters.
Yeah, I don't really know, but well, first of all, they sealed the door shut so nobody could leave, which I was like, clear
fault of them number one.
Yeah, I was like, that was stupid. For multiple reasons, and then also the fact that you can still get in is stupid. But anyways, so Soul and Torben confront the sisters, and then I don't know why Mama immediately decided to try to do the essence of transfer or whatever that was.
She tried to do it in. So what I actually have a theory of what happened. So she tried to do it into May. That's where she was facing. I actually think that she couldn't do it and she got stuck because OSHA wasn't there. She had to have essence transferred into both of them. And that's why she kind of got caught.
Interesting.
Because the other bitch did it instantly into, I always forget his name.
The Wookiee?
Yeah.
Well, we're not there yet, so.
Kalzaka, what's his name?
I don't remember.
There's a girl in this book that we read. Her name's Halen Azaka, and it's fucking me up with the Wookiees.
Yeah, we've already talked about it. We're really bad at names. Anyways.
The Wookiee.
So she goes to do that, and I don't know why, because Soul, like, stopped Torben from turning on the lightsaber, and Soul just fucking ignites that bitch and fucking stabs her, and I was like, what the hell? Right in front of May, by the way, which I was like, no fucking...
Yeah, how has she never mentioned that?
Well, I think every time she tries to tell OSHA, they always have like a fight or something. They get separated or something. But that was nuts. I don't know why he did that. That was really interesting to me.
He didn't want to... I think he knew that was what she was doing.
I don't know. I mean, he was scared for what... I think he was scared for what was going to happen. Obviously, he was a lot younger, and I mean, they have no idea who these people are. But I thought that was very interesting.
So then immediately we go back to these fucking compound bows. No,
dude. And then by the way, no, listen. When they pulled back and they had the little red tip on the end of the blade,
there was no tip on them. They looked like practice arrows. But they were rounded.
The fact that they were glowing red, I was like, oh my god!
It was such like a Hawkeye thing.
It looked like a lit cigarette.
Like an e-cig too.
Like, it was stupid as hell.
But that's what I was mentioning earlier. Torben ignites his lightsaber.
Oh,
that
buddy.
Fucking guy. The actor knows how to fucking use a lightsaber at least. I was like, gee,
I was
God.
actually really excited it was gold too. Dude. I think the gold lightsabers look really good in this show. I really do.
Yeah.
And then
I don't think they contradict well with their gold ass fucking uniforms, or robes.
I don't know, dude. I thought it looked really good when he ignited it and it was gold. I was kind of expecting it to be green, but then when it was gold...
I thought it was going to be blue instantly, just the way he acts.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I just felt like looking at him visually, I thought it was going to be green because I felt like that would have looked good with his character.
I was very surprised. Well, since Indara's was green, I thought his was going to be blue.
Okay.
There's like a weird, there's a weird thing with Jedi Masters where that kind of happens.
Yeah. But, dude, it ignited. It was gold. I was like, wow. And then, dude, he started whipping that bitch around. And I was like, hell yeah, that's cool as fuck.
Yeah, so then we get into, of course, the Wookiee. We finally get cool shit with the Wookiee. I'm so glad they actually
I know. I was like, wow.
Wookiee shit. So that was cool. And then...
So the person that... So we got to explain that. So the person that carried
the
OSHA
weird
and May...
Zabrak.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Anyways.
They had to reiterate.
She basically did the essence of transfer into the Wookiee. Which, by the way, which was crazy that she was inside the Wookiee, but kind of inside all of their minds at the same time. Because they thought it was Soul. Because Torben's like, it's not me, I'm fine. And his Soul is like kind of confused, and then all of a sudden we see the Wookiee, and he like looks at them, and I'm like, oh shit, the Wookiee's about to fuck these.
Just the way he started walking, I was like,
yeah, I was like, the Wookiee is about to.
Soul has some good, like the one part where he has the lightsaber and he just fucking punches it out of his hand. I thought was a pretty cool
and
scene.
I mean, dude, so Torben versus fucking the Wookiee. By the way, the green and gold like fighting against each other actually looked really good. It didn't clash at all. It looked really cool.
It's just Ahsoka.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. Hers is kind of orange, a little bit more orange. But, yeah, I mean, dude, I thought the choreography was good. The Wookiees was a little different because, I mean, obviously, it's hard.
7 foot.
It's hard to change. It's hard to make a Wookiee.
No, honestly, I thought his air moving and jumping looked good.
I still thought it looked good. I thought Torben was very good in the scene. Dude, and then the scene, the Wookiee grabs Torben by the neck and shoves him against the wall and goes to slash at him, and Torben just blocks that shit. I thought that was cool as hell.
Yeah, he goes, and I was like, oh, fuck, he killed him. And then he just shows the lightsaber. I'm like, that was a cool, like, filming scene. That was very good cinematography.
Yeah, and then
we see Indara jump and do, like, a fucking Catwoman flip onto his fucking head. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's after Soul punches the lightsaber out of his hand because, like, Jesus, you need to get that lightsaber away from him. You already got to deal with his strength, let alone the lightsaber on top of it. And then he's starting to kick Soul's ass, and then Indara jumps in there and, like...
Yeah.
What?
And then she proceeds to use that woman's mind to kill everybody in the company.
Well, it's almost like, so if it is the essence of transfer, basically how it works...
They were all, like, helping her.
Well, right, which is why I don't think it's the essence of transfer. So how the essence of transfer works is you have your soul leave your body, you go into another person's body, your body completely disintegrates, which did happen. But then your souls are supposed to fight in that other person's body,
Well,
and whoever's soul is like...
if the soul of the host body is powerful enough to stop...
Well, right, so they basically have like a soul fight within that person's body, and whoever wins that fight gets to keep the body, basically. And if that's the essence of transfer, and she won...
Yeah,
because,
I guess it's a little different.
Well, basically, so if she wins, which she did because she was controlling the Wookiee... he wouldn't have been able to come back. So there's no way it's the essence transfer. Yeah. And also the other witches were helping her. And
creepy
it was creepy. And then Master Indara, like, I don't know what she does, but she, like, forces the other soul in his body and, like, kills her. I don't know what she did. And then everybody died.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize that, like, she is a lot more powerful and Soul is a lot more powerful than, like, he's at least a very powerful fighter, and she's more powerful in the Force than I thought. For her to have died as quick as she
if we
did.
go based off of lightsaber color, based on legends, I mean, it makes sense.
I guess, but clearly I don't give a shit about that. So
yeah, but I mean, that made sense with them two specifically.
So we also got to see Soul's perspective of May and Osha again.
Oh,
and,
wow, that surprised the hell out of me.
He legit just drops.
Yeah,
May.
he literally let May die. Basically, or tried like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he was going to be able to save both of them, but he just gave up. Didn't even try.
Yeah.
And we wondered why, like, he wasn't able to get both of them. It was because he literally wasn't strong enough to. And then he just chooses one over the other.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And then I also thought...
I think, honestly, though, like, I feel like if he was Force holding them... He was trying to hold up the platforms.
He was holding up the platforms.
Force held the two of them.
Yeah,
I think it would have been a lot easier. But
yeah, I do think that too. But
so I only have 2 notes left. I wrote that obviously Soul chose to save Osha, which is kind of crazy, and Osha kind of like watched him do it. But it's the scene they jump back to the ship. Why the fuck does Indara legit try to start fighting Soul? Like, he tries to walk past her, and she dead-ass fucking grabs him and rips him around. And the other note I have is Indara's a fucking bitch.
yeah.
Dude, I don't know what's up with her. I don't know what's up with anybody in this show.
It's interesting because regardless of what happened, I still don't understand why Torben killed himself. Besides the fact that I guess he's mentally unstable. But, like, he did not do anything that... So when I said I thought he was going to go and he was going to kill everybody, that would have been a reason for him to go kill himself, in my opinion.
Or if
he didn't kill...
Mama would have made him kill everybody.
And he didn't kill anybody. None of them.
No.
Because it's not like he could fucking hit a fucking regular arrow back at somebody. It just destroyed it. But, but like, literally, though, like, he didn't kill anybody. So I'm sitting here and I'm like... I don't really understand fully why he just kills himself.
She's still somewhat in control of him.
Which is possible, I feel like, because
we'll never get that explanation.
We won't, but it kind of makes sense that you said that because Torben kind of goes off and we see him like meditating. He's by himself. He's not on Coruscant anymore, and neither is the Wookiee. The Wookiee like also got like mind fucked. And he also leaves Coruscant. He's just kind of hiding out, like, by himself and shit like that. So I wonder if, like, their powers did do something to them to change that and make them...
Unless more happens.
I mean, but more can't happen. We have one more episode left.
They have to explain how May survives.
May survives what?
The fall.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe something
Dude,
else
I don't
did
know.
Happen.
So I did think there was parts in this episode that were good. The episode as a whole I thought was not the greatest.
It was because these 2 little kids fucking suck.
Also, the metachlorian count thing.
What do you mean?
where they talk about how, oh my God, they're so high, they're
Yeah,
off the
but
charts.
high to them.
I guess,
Who
Tyler,
knows what
but
high to them means?
I guess, but like,
I mean, obviously they have Yodas, which is what 20,000 ish.
oh, it's 19 something.
Yeah,
Because
so,
the chart goes to 20. Because
and Obi-Wan's, he was considered the top of his class at 15,000.
I've actually seen different numbers for him. I'm not quite sure what his
I
is.
average between 14 and 16. He's about 15,000 ish.
I've seen him up to an 18 on certain numbers, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on Obi-Wan, but Yoda's was in the 19 because they capped it out at 20,000 because they thought nobody would go past Yoda, obviously.
Anakin's is like 30.
Anakin's is 27.
Yeah. So yeah.
So, I mean, if they already have Yodas, I mean, I guess they could still be lower or whatever.
I mean, if they were north of 12 to 15-ish, it'd be really high.
I feel like theirs is definitely higher than that.
Maybe they meant also that they take younglings who have a medical learning count 10,000 and higher, and theirs was high enough that it would have been like, we should have taken these kids earlier.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I wish they would have set a number.
I kind of, yeah.
I don't think they could have set a number.
They're not going to. I don't think they're going
they're
to.
intelligent enough to say a number, and it makes sense. Nor do I think whatever number they said, people would be pissed.
Yeah, I don't think Disney's even going to release that number. I don't. Because I think...
Someone probably make a book on it.
Yeah. I don't know. That kind of made me a little upset. I also didn't like Soul's reaction. That was the worst acting I've seen out of him, was when he ran over to the iPad. I was like, okay.
He kind of like skipped.
Yeah, it was like, oh my God.
I think it.
Oh my God, what is it? We found it.
I didn't think it was that. It wasn't bad acting. It was just kind of like an unnecessary scene.
I think it was kind of. I guess it
was
wasn't.
kind
It
of
wasn't
funny.
bad acting. I guess for the actor itself, I just thought it was stupid. Like, oh my God, what is it? Like,
He didn't say that.
I
asshole.
know, but that's what it made it seem like, and I was sitting here like,
He definitely felt like he walked on his toes for that.
yeah, I
don't know.
don't know. I thought 5 was really good. Choreography was great, in my opinion. Love what they did with the bad guy. I thought episode 6, all the parts with the bad guy were really good, and then like the final scene wherein he realized.
I think the bad guy and Soul are carrying the show.
Oh yeah,
so
I mean, I thought
hard.
Soul was carrying at the beginning, and then we have the bad guy come in episode 4, 5, 6.
I think you mentioned it earlier. I feel like there's way too much shit they need to talk about.
Yeah,
dude. Unless this episode's like an hour.
They started introducing so many characters, and they're not going to be able to explain it all in one episode, unless you, like you said, it's going to be an hour plus episode. There's no.
Or
way.
they just like part 2 coming in 7 years.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't see answers getting answered, and or, I mean, I don't, and then, I just feel like, I don't know. I want to see the face off between the bad guy and then the green woman. I think that's his master. I really want to see that. I want to see that first.
I feel like that's where it has to go.
I feel like it has to too, because the other side of the story,
And then
I don't really care
feel
for.
like we might get like a scene where either he kills her,
Yeah, I think he should.
and I would love a scene where he just walks in and you just see Tanibers, and he's just like, he goes down and kneels. He's like, "You've done well."
Yeah,
And then just cuts.
that's basically how I want it to be too.
And or he dies in Tanibers, like we see a scene with Tanibers where he was like something they could do with Tanibers, almost like a, you don't even have to speak, just kind of like a, I don't know, maybe a scene of him like seeing that he's dead or somehow knowing that he's dead, and then like show him using something where he's like looking where he's looking at Plagueis.
Or we could have like Tanibris, and then he's like, "You weren't supposed to reveal yourself," and then he kills him. I think that could be cool.
Yeah. Okay. So if he kills Endara, right?
Right.
He goes back to report.
Not Endara.
Nope. Yeah, you're right. Green girl.
Yeah. I forget her name.
I don't care. He kills the Green Master and goes back, and he's like, at Tanibers, like, "Where's your mask at?" And he was like, "They saw my face," and he was just like, "Sorry."
Yeah. I would love that.
Maybe that's the beheading.
I would. Yeah. I'd love it. I think if
Or like
they're gonna,
like a force choke and snap.
I do think the second half of the show has been dramatically better than the first half of the show. Not even.
That wasn't hard to do.
It wasn't hard to do. It has been a dramatically way better second half. I don't think they're going to be able to answer all the questions in episode 8. I don't. I do have high hopes for it, to be honest, because I think they can still make it really cool. Again, it's not going to answer a lot of questions, which is a bad storytelling perspective, but I think it is a bad storytelling perspective, and I think they're going to go away from that and just make it cool, because I think they need to make it cooler than the story actually be complete, to be honest. I'd rather it be cooler at this point.
I mean, this episode could be a 9 out of 10, and I still think this show is going to be like a 4 out of 10.
I mean, the first half.
If this last episode's bad, they're going to fucking hear it.
Yeah. Not even from us, like from everybody. Because it's like,
people
are already out of it, and people that are still here, like, it's still all over the place. And it's like, we only have one more episode left.
Yeah, it's... I don't know, especially because I'm sick of these shows. Like, I hate how they make us wait to come out with a show. It's 6 and 8 episodes. It's ridiculous. On top of that, they make us wait. Some people like waiting weekly. Some people don't. It's kind of whatever. But you make us wait all this time. If they do make a season 2, it's not going to be for another 1.5 2 years. They got too much shit coming out, and you got to have to record it.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. Not record it. Jesus. But like,
it is heavily rumored for season 2. I'm not 100% sure into that, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to answer a lot, and honestly, I would rather it end how we said, and then them just do a different project.
But what I'm saying too is, like, I'm sick of this, like, 6 to 8 episodes where you do too much storytelling, or I guess it's part of creation, but like, you should have went into this knowing this needs a season 2. If it does well, it gets a season 2. Mm-hmm. Not, let's see if it does well, then give it a season 2. If you know you can't finish it correctly. But another thing that I think pisses me off the most, why are you giving us 8 episodes of a show and making them 35 fucking minute episodes with 2 minutes of bullshit and then 8 minutes of bullshit? Literally, the one episode has like 26 minutes of fucking screen time.
Yeah, it's really bad. I finished the 2 episodes last night because I waited to watch them, and it was like the 32-minute point that it ended.
Yeah,
and it was just credits for like 10
after
minutes.
They rolled at least 1 minute of bullshit too.
Yeah, and then like the intro, you had
a 30-minute episode, like,
or less.
Like, and like, yeah, I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't have anything else this week.
I don't either. Next week will probably be the final review.
It'll be the final episode and final review, and wrap up our thoughts on the entire show. But yeah, this has been Mind Trick Media. Thank you guys.